had a cell phone, I didn't want to always be there, you know? Like, if your phone is on, you're supposed to be there. Sometimes I like to disappear. But it's like when everyone has their phone on, no one is there. It's like we're all disappearing the more we're there. Last week, there was this woman in line at the pharmacy and she was like, shit, on her cell phone. And she kept saying, shit, fuck, you're shitting me, you're fucking shitting me. No fucking way, bitch. If you're shitting me, I'll fucking kill you. You know, that kind of thing. And there were all these old people in line, and it was like she didn't care. If she told her whole life, the worst part of her life, in front of the people in line. It was like people in pharmacies, pick up. It was like people who were in, it was like, try again, pick up. It was like people who are in line at pharmacies must be strangers, by definition. And I thought that was sad. But when Gordon's phone rang and rang after he died, I thought his phone was beautiful. Like it was the only thing keeping him alive. Like as long as people called him, he would be alive. That sounds a little, I know. But all those molecules in the air trying to talk to Gordon, and Gordon, he's in the air too, so maybe they would all meet up there, whizzing around those bits of air and voices.
Boy, that's lovely. What a great read. Good for you. That is first rate.
Thank you.
I feel you need to be friendlier than ever to give the right impression. Or perhaps you are afraid to speak your truth with friends and family. Perhaps there are things you would like to say, but are too afraid to. And therefore you mince your words, and you cover up the real message.
While I was down there, I would find rocks. Little rocks, striped rocks, smooth rocks, green rocks, rocks with lots of little holes in them. You name it. I love rocks. I would bring these rocks home and display them around my room. This vexed my mother endlessly, and so the silent battle began. We waged our respective sides in the other's absence. Me collecting rocks on the playground. I'm gonna go back, pick up. Me collecting rocks on the playground and bringing them home. My mother removing these rocks at any opportunity and adding them to her rock garden. Eventually, I confronted my mother to demand an explanation. Where were my rocks? She very calmly informed me that they were precisely where they belonged, outside. The rock garden soon became my Eden. I would go out to find my beautiful rocks, rocks I had picked up with great care and notice, rocks that my mother had seemingly thrown without care into the garden. I would arrange them by size and color, in spiral patterns and small cairns atop bigger rocks. My mama's gardens were where the fairies lived. My rocks, their furniture.
Wonderful. Good for you. Nicely done.
Thank you.
That's just really lovely.
Smooth as groovy as jazz. Keep your ears tuned into West Coast Cool 98.1 FM. Catch the vibe. Be cool. In the heart of the night. All night long. Cool jazz on Gotham 98.1 Cool FM. Time for some pillow talk. Let the great whisper sweet nothings in your ear. Get some shut-eye with Jazz 98.1 Cool FM.
Where, alright, and now I block with my shield, and we'll be able to protect everything now. And my friends just go, kill them all!
You know, as a dungeon master, it's either them or the monsters you throw at them.
Yep.
You gotta make a choice.
Okay. Here we go.
Informally, in order to avoid an embarrassing utensil faux pas, observe the following protocol. Begin by locating your...
Todd,
Yes.
it's not your turn. It's Joe's turn.
Go on! We'll wait.
My apologies. I thought I had muted myself, and I...
Oh, okay.
Pray continue.
How funny. All right. Here we go.
Incompetent fool. I should never have sent you. What's shaking, Parks? You look a little, what's the word? Constipated. Oh, let's just say I hope you turn out less of an evolutionary dead end than your predecessor. You lost me. Shall I tell you a secret? Few of our people know this, But the DNA in our cloning banks are becoming more and more degraded with each new clone. That's bad, right? Only if we want to retain our immortality through cloning. Of course it's bad! I sent Crypto-136 in search of a planet we visited many eons ago. A planet seeded with pure Furon DNA. But I lost contact. Let me get this straight. You sent me, him, Crypto-136, to a hostile planet, and he's disappeared. Maybe captured, maybe even being tortured as we speak. Well, I wouldn't jump to any conclusion. I bet you wouldn't. Let me tell you something, Pox. You're a smart cookie. But there's a time for thought, and there's a time for action. And this is one of those times. Which? The second one. Perhaps you're right, 137. Of course I'm right. You kidding me? A cryptosporidium captured by a bunch of monkeys? We gotta go in. We gotta crack some brainiums. We gotta rescue me. Him. He's gonna rescue me. I gotta... Brains, man. When do I get to blow things up? Patience, Crypto. Patience. I get your point. Prepare the mothership. That's what I'm talking about. So, what's the name of this crummy planet? Our destination? The planet Earth.
Nice. Good one, man.
Thank you.
I like it.
Hear, and attend, and listen, for this befell and behappened and became and was, O my best beloved, when the tame animals were wild.
Don't look up.
The dog was wild, and the horse was wild, and the cow was wild, and the sheep was wild, and the pig was wild as wild could be, and they walked in the wet wild woods by their wild lones. But the wildest of all the wild animals was the cat. He walked by himself, and all places were alike to him.
And is sent to hell. He's hot and miserable, so he decides to take action. The AC has been busted for a long time, so he fixes it. Things cool down quickly. The moving walkway motor jammed, so he unjams it. People can get from place to place more easily. The TV was grainy and unclear, so he fixes the connection to the satellite dish, and now they get hundreds of high-def channels. One day, God decides to look down on hell to see how his grand design is working out, and notices that everyone is happy and enjoying umbrella drinks. He asks the devil, "What's up?" The devil says, "Things are great down here since you sent us an engineer." "What?" says God. "An engineer? I didn't send you one of those. That must have been a mistake. Send him upstairs immediately." The devil responds, "No way. We want to keep our engineer. We like him." God demands, "If you don't send him to me immediately, I'll sue." The devil laughs. "Where are you going to get a lawyer?"
That's like way better. When you do God's voice, do it in the low range only.
Right.
Just back up and do that.
Oh, okay.
Right before where God talks.
Okay.
It's still got a little Don Knotts in God's voice.
Even God. Well,
yeah,
okay. So he asks the devil, "What's up?" The devil says, "Things are great down here since you sent us an engineer." "What?" says God. "An engineer? I didn't send you one of those. That must have been a mistake. Send him upstairs immediately." The devil responds, "No way. We want to keep our engineer. We like him." God demands, "If you don't send him to me immediately, I'll sue." The devil laughs. "Where are you going to get a lawyer?"
There you go. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Better contrast, too.
Good.
So much beauty in one place. America is a great country, and we got the best way to see it. Amtrak, Explore America fares. Round trips for $179 all across America.
Right there, $79, not $79.
Okay.
So you're not doing the S. From the top.
So much beauty in one place. America is a great country, and we've got the best way to see it. Amtrak, Explore America fares. Round trips from $179 all across America. It's a great country at a great price. Call 1-800-US-RAILS. Now about Amtrak, Explore America fares.
Good for you. That's great. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Very clean. Love that. Joe, you're up.
Thank you.
If I don't do that joke at least once a night while I'm here.
I know, and
It is foreseen. Change was inevitable. Masters of manipulation, orchestrators of grand complexities, all touched by the architect of fate. Do you seek the ultimate truths? We reveal the unfathomable. Manipulate fate for Zinch.
Ah, great. Love that. Good for you, man.
Thank you.
First rate.
Thank you,
It's
thank you.
crystal clear everywhere.
Cool.
Yeah, you got to hear the words.
Just pretend there's a building behind me.
There is a building behind
There
you.
is a building behind me, of course. Gosh, how do I start? If you look up at the top, there's some information that you don't need me for. 1892, H. Weber. This is the schmuck. I don't introduce everybody as a gentleman. Henry Weber was a cobbler. He came to Aspen with his wife Harriet, who was a millinestress. She made hats. Millinestress.
Milliner.
Right. Oh, well, a millinestress would be a lady milliner, wouldn't it be?
Okay, go with it.
Great, thank you.
Well, thank God your mother's here. We might have been misinformed.
Right? Well, I mean, she does speak English. All right. Harriet's niece Julia helped in the shop. Now, Henry and his wife Harriet were some of the first winter people in Aspen. 1880, population of 35 people through the winter, 13 of whom were women, highly educated, upstanding Victorian ladies. Now, early days of 1881, some rumors have started to spread that Henry is possibly having an affair with his wife's niece, Julia. How you have an affair in a tent? Timing, I imagine. Anyway, I digress. A little while there later, Harriet dies of strychnine poisoning. Now, strychnine is a very simple powder you get over the counter in those days. A teaspoon in your water at the end of the evening will help you calm your nerves. Get ready for bed. Today, we know strychnine is rat poison, and we know it to kill your nerves. So the case goes to court. It's deemed an accident. She must have just put too much powder in her water that night. 4 months later, Henry marries Julia and builds her a big house on the west end of Aspen. Schmuck! The story gets worse. 6 years later, in 1887, Henry runs for mayor, and he's elected, so scandal is not new to politics. But
Is this an hour presentation?
It's not. This is the last bit of the story.
Go ahead.
But during the campaign, his competitors dig up that there is a whole nother wife and family back in St. Louis who he ditched to come out to Colorado to marry Harriet, to kill her, to marry Julia. Schmuck.
Good job. Wonderful. We should all go to Aspen and take the tour.
Yes, you should.
Right? That's wonderful.
In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, "The kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make life free and beautiful, to make this life wonderful adventure." Pick up. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then, in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, what will give men a chance to work, that the youth will give a future, and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
Brilliant. Good for you, man.
Thank you.
That's really good stuff.
Wet, wild woods, all the wild animals gathered together where they could see the light of the fire a long way off, and they wondered what it meant. Then the wild horse stamped his wild foot and said, "Oh, my friends, and oh, my enemies, why have the man and the woman made that great light in that great cave? And what harm will it do us?" The wild dog lifted up his... Pickup. The wild dog lifted...
Yeah, I prefer pickup over...
"A Merry Christmas, Uncle! God save you!" cried a cheerful voice. It was the voice of Scrooge's nephew, who came upon him so quickly that this was the first intimation he had of his approach. "Bah!" said Scrooge. "Humbug!" He had so heated himself with rapid walking in the fog and frost, this nephew of Scrooge's, that he was all in a glow. His face was ruddy and handsome, his eyes sparkled, and his breath smoked again. "Christmas a humbug, Uncle," said Scrooge's nephew. "You don't mean that, I am sure." "I do," said Scrooge. "Merry Christmas! What right have you to be merry? What reason have you to be merry? The Flesh Legion marches. A pestilent parade. Gaze upon the dominion of life and decay. A fertile universe pregnant with plagues. The time for virulent rebirth is upon you. Rejoice in proliferation. Share in the gifts of Nurgle."
There you go. Nice. Love that. Very. These episodes are very important.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Baby, I have no idea how this will end. Maybe the equator will fall like a hula hoop from the Earth's hips, and our mouths will freeze mid-kiss on our 80th anniversary. Or maybe tomorrow, my absolute insanity combined with the absolute... Pick up. Or maybe tomorrow, my absolute insanity combined with the absolute obstacle course of your communication skills will leave us like a love letter and a... Pick up.
From the top. Let's go from the top. Clean slate.
Thank you.
Here we go.
Baby, I have no idea how this will end. Maybe the equator will fall like a hula hoop from the Earth's hips, and our mouths will freeze mid-kiss on our 80th anniversary. Or maybe tomorrow, my absolute insanity combined with the absolute obstacle course of your communication skills will leave us like a love letter in a landfill. But whatever, whenever, however this ends, I want you to know that right now I love you forever. I love you for the hardest mile we walked together. For the night I collected every sharp knife in the house and threw them one by... Ooh, try again. Pick up. For the night I collected every sharp knife in the house and threw them one by one on the roof and then told the sun, "Listen, show off. From now on you better only give me blades of grass, things that are growing and soft, 'cause there's this girl who says she wants to float on her back through my bloodstream. And when she does, I want my rivers to reach the sea."
Beautiful. Good for you. Lovely.
Back home, the girl took out the drugs, then opened her mouth to say "here" to her mother. A small frog, brightly coloured, slipped from her lips. It leapt from her arm to the wall where it hung and stared at them unblinking. "Oh my God," said the girl, "that's just disgusting." 5 more coloured tree frogs and 1 small red, black and yellow banded snake. "Black against red," said the girl. "Is that poisonous?" 3 more tree frogs, a cane toad, a small blind white snake and a baby iguana.
Ahem, 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 ahem.
The airplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the Pickety. Pick
From the top.
From the... yeah. Bleh, bleh, bleh.
Bleh,
Bleh, bleh, bleh, bleh. That's all, folks.
That's it.
The airplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world. Millions of despairing men, women, and little children. Victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison Victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die. And the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines. You are not cattle. You are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate. Only the unloved hate. The unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery. Fight for liberty.
Brilliantly done. Really, man.
Thank you.
First rate.